Vlog 71 today. Walking the dog. Let's get this day going. Gonna head over to the middle school, have some in-services, do some workshops. We'll see what I learn over there. Looking forward to it. Just finished up the workshops, 3 different workshops over at the other school, and now I'm heading back to my school for a few more meetings. So we'll see how the rest of the day goes. Well, I'm sitting here a few minutes early. I'm kind of thinking about how I'm going to go through all of the trainings, and I think what I'll do is sit down and do a couple versions. And I think this is why I go by Slow Jesse. I totally went to the wrong building. I was supposed to be in the gym, not at J2. So we got done with our teacher trainings and I've got some work to do for sure. I think what I'm gonna do is start with my command center / library right behind me here. So one thing I really want to do is be super thoughtful about which resources I decide to keep in my room and which resources that I get rid of, maybe because they're more valuable to somebody else. And so this is like what the resources look like right now. And I need to weed through those and kind of delegate some of that stuff out. And I really need to execute on them and get them to where they're supposed to be going, rather than just hold on to them with the intention of getting them out of here. So I'm still looking in this corner here and I'm kind of at a loss. I'm not sure exactly what I want to do back there. Got my desk right here. It's kind of the corner. I kind of want to close it off in the corner there and make the rest of the room very accessible for the students. Feel like we have some space in the room. But I'm not sure how much space to take up, and I'm not sure how I want to arrange everything so that I have the work space that I need to do my job. A lot of little decisions to make that affect other things. And I'm not a design guy, so I don't totally know how to do this. Still haven't fully decided, like, I don't know, put that stuff there. I think what I'm gonna do is put all of that stuff up here in the front. Have like all the speaker system, all the sound, audio visual right up there. Okay, so still a lot of stuff to do. Take a look around the room. There's a lot of things going on, but check it out. Got it posted. I'm excited about that. Got to remember tomorrow to bring a Phillips head screwdriver. And the 2 books that I'm going to start with, Quicksilver and Strategic Teaching and Learning, Good Questioning Techniques and Good Group Team Building Activities. Heading up to a little teacher get-together for a, I don't know, little get-together. That's what it's called, I guess. Just got done at the teacher meeting and I'm heading home. Okay, so back at home, had a little bit of a steak that Cambria had cooked up. Now I'm gonna have some good health food, ice cream, yum. And I don't know what to do. I'm not really feeling like getting into the work mode, but I really should sit down and like kind of lay out the paperwork and start planning my long form podcast, which is going to kind of inform all the other stuff I'm gonna be doing. I think what I'm gonna do, like, which is going to inform like my Twitter and some other things. But we did have a lawyer talk to us, and he recommends not doing social media with students, and I tend to agree with him on that. As much as I like social media, I think I need to be really smart about it and make sure that I'm using district approved tools in order to communicate with the students. And so I think I'm gonna unfollow a couple of students and develop my policies around that. But I don't know, I think there's a way to still create the right kind of community maybe on Blogger or something like that. But I don't think you're supposed to use something that has like the direct messaging capabilities. So anyway, I'll probably comment more on that. I think what I'm going to do is actually record myself using video and then transfer that over to audio and use that as my podcast. So I'm going to make a video podcast as well as then put it out as an audio podcast. See how that goes.
Dude, you can't be so fancy that you're not going to empty the litter box on garbage night. You gotta empty the litter box on garbage night. Oh man, somebody didn't do this last time. There's too much stuff in here. Gross.
All right, so I took the dog for a walk, emptied the garbages and all that kind of stuff. I am trying to get my head wrapped around all of the different components of getting the school year started. And I think where I'm beginning here is this book, Quicksilver. And I need to reread the basics, chapter 1, talking about the leadership role here. And I think that going through this is going to be important to get a good idea, to remind me of what my role is going to be and some of the qualities that a good leader has as they are facilitating a group of people to build trust. So that's going to be one of my big things, is trying to build towards trust. Now, having said that, one of the other things that I need to do is to work on higher level discussions and developing really good dialogues and questions in order to help the students dissect the content a little bit further so that we can have a more meaningful discussion about things. And to do that, I'm going to be using the Strategic Teaching and Learning book. Specifically, I think... What, Stella? What are you doing? Specifically, I think that I've tried these before. Structured discussions and inner and outer circle discussions have been valuable. Socratic seminar and that kind of thing. Those have worked pretty well in the past when I've done them just once or twice. In addition to those, there's going to be a written component, which I haven't decided if I'm going to have the students do blogs again and use Blogger. I think that's probably the best. It just makes the most sense to have them do their writing on Blogger. Now, I'm going to be using this audio right now as my Healthy Self podcast. Well, maybe not right this minute. This is still part of my daily vlog. But what I'm planning to do is to sit and talk like this, possibly with a guest. That might be a good way to do it. And then just pull the audio, use that as my podcast, and make that part of my content delivery. Having the podcast be part of the content delivery, especially if it's a good interview or something like that. So let me go back to Wednesday then. On Wednesday, we went through the civil discourse and equity training provided by the district. And I sat there furiously taking notes on my MindNode app, and I created this. So it's really small here, and I thought about reading it, but I think I might save that for later, where I can break these out into components and talk about each one more individually. But we do have quite a bit of discussion to take place regarding civil dialogue and equity. Now, that was yesterday. Today I went to another training And I went to 3 modules. I went to Trends in Substance Abuse. I went to Immigrant and Refugee Students, Addressing Social, Emotional, and Educational Needs. And I went to Suicide Postvention. So I think that this is another thing. This is heavy into content regarding the substance abuse. Gets pretty heavy into content, and I took quite a few notes on there. My brain was kind of going around, but I'm gonna kind of read through what I had written here, which is, nah, maybe not. I think what I'll do is I'll go through and pull this out and I'll use this more as a podcast. I think that'll be a smart way to do this. Yeah, I'll make that more of a podcast. Then I went to the immigration, safe schools for immigration students, and I have this handout, and this might be interesting to just kind of save. I don't know that that's like a piece of content that I would need to make at this point. Maybe just a reference, at least for now. So I'll keep all of these organized. Strategies for a strength-based approach for immigrant and refugee students. Interesting. This is our school policy. So I think, like I said, I'll keep those as references. And then I went to the Suicide Postvention, and I'm excited about collaborating with the speaker, Alicia, because she seems really knowledgeable about it. And I know that Mr. Monroe, the other health teacher, has had her come to his class several times, so I'm looking forward to that. I won't go over this information right now. And then, very interesting talk regarding preventing discrimination, bullying, and harassment. And I should dissect this handout a little bit more so that I can, again, make more content for the podcast. So this was kind of good. I'm glad I sat down to do this because it has helped clarify how I'm going to pull this stuff out and piece it back together in terms of giving content out. So I guess what I'm thinking is my podcast needs to be very student-based, content-rich, and maybe some calls to action in it. That part I just don't know about. So anyway, I'm glad I've kind of looked at those things. I know what to do now for the most part. Can kind of group and chunk that stuff back together as I review it, and then talk about it through a podcast. I should develop the questions though, but I'm going to go back to where I started. So I'm going to go back to this and talk about leadership and trust, and then start developing questions from this book surrounding all of the content that I've been getting here, and then put that into the health curriculum, especially on the personal health side of it. So I think I've got my work cut out for me, but should be pretty exciting for me anyway. All right, so I took a few notes here, boom, and I'm gonna go to bed because this day's over.